I'm just heating up the hot glue. I'm gonna hot glue the box together and then take it over to the house where I have the rod at and pack it up and take it to the post office. So I put the hot glue on and I'm just holding it down with this level straight edge, just because I can't hold the whole thing down very well with just two hands. Yeah, the hot glue holds pretty well and it seems to dry or set pretty quickly, so it's a good thing for putting boxes together. I also put some extra tape on to make sure. I'm gonna wrap this. I didn't put that much glue on for this box, so I'm gonna wrap it pretty good with tape just to make sure. So now I got some layers of tape wrapped around, and this is what I was talking about earlier, where we cut and folded the edges, so now they can like fold in. That was a mistake again, and then we just fold them in, and then that can be taped up as well. Alright, so I got the end of it all taped up now, and we got a good looking box. It's just not long enough. We need 55 inches. So this thing is like, it's like a few inches short. I'm just using this free cardboard from Costco. It's the cardboard they use to stack stuff. Like the products, layers of products are stacked on top of layers of cardboard like that. I use that for making boxes. So now I'm gonna just do sort of like the same process with a little bit longer measurements, so I can make like a lid to just stick on top of that thing and close it. So I'm gonna just like measure the openings here to see what my width should be, because it's gonna be a little thicker now because we have the width of the cardboard. So this turns into like 6.5, and just make sure that it's gonna be big enough. So I measured 6 3/8 by 2 1/4 for this thing, and when I'm drawing the lines, I'm going to just I'm gonna add like an 1/8 of an inch for each fold, I think, and yeah, I'll sort of do it and I'll explain after. Alright, so I marked this out here. So I start with 2 1/4, the one side, and then because when you fold, it sort of takes away some of the material, I add 1/8 of an inch here. I guess because that's the width of the cardboard. So the length that I want the whole edge to be is 6 3/8. But since when I'm gonna fold it, it's gonna take a little from this side and a little from that side. So I guess I could have done maybe even 1/4, but I think 1/8 is enough. No, I guess maybe it would be a 1/16 on each side. Anyway, it's not that big of a deal. You just take a little extra so that when you fold, it doesn't take away from your width. Even though that's not that important either, but it doesn't have to be that exact. You should have some accounted for some extra space in the measurements. But then I'll do this, and then I'll do that, and then it's going to be another 2 1/4 on this side, but then plus the extra 1/8, and then another 6 6 1/4, or 6.5. And then lastly, it's going to be 2 1/4, but that last one doesn't really need to have the extra because it's going to be there's not going to be a fold in the last one. It's just there's going to be one fold, but not two folds. I'll show you what I mean. So yeah, I almost ran out of cardboard there. I just had enough. Should probably have made some kind of estimate before I started, but I'm not going to use the whole thing. I'm just going to use like as much as I need to get this to be a full 55, and then have a little extra to go down, maybe 6 inches extra just to keep it on there. And again, now I'm going to mark this side. So the width of the fold is going to be like half of the opening, or something like that. half of the opening maybe plus an eighth, or if you want to get the exact, but you know, it might be enough to just do half of the opening and you don't have to account for the fold. Maybe you do, yeah. The tape is going to hold it anyway, so it might not be that big of a deal, but I'll show you. So I think we want to fold on the wide side. You know, we don't want to have like a big long edge sticking out that we fold down and have it. It's more secure, I think, if you use the wide side to fold. So the wide side, when it's going to fold up like that, the wide side should be half of the, like the from what we see, the vertical width of this should be half of this width should be what we use for our folding width here. So this is the opening is going to be 2 1/4, so we're going to use that. So it's going to be 1 1/8 is going to be the folding width. Okay, so I marked it, and then I'm going to measure this box and measure just to see how much of this I'm going to cut. So I see from the bottom here that I need 55 inches. This goes down to like, you know, I want to have it so that it's coming down to maybe like the 40. So I guess what is it? I guess I'll use 55 minus 40, which is 15. So I'll use 15 inches of this to get my desired height. All right, so we got the line drawn. We're gonna cut on this line. We're gonna cut these tabs here, and we're gonna fold the rest of the lines, and we're gonna cut this piece off here. And so to make the fold, I just sort of use the scissors and make a little mark in it, but don't go too hard, especially along the corrugations, because you'll sort of cut through the first layer of the cardboard, even with just like a dull material. So I started making the dents here and the cuts for the tabs, and you can see it's once you've like sort of indented it with the scissors, like, you know, I did like this kind of thing. It's really easy to fold it. It just kind of folds right like you want it to. So now I'm going to fold it up and glue it and then tape it and use it as a lid. So I just tested to make sure that I made this the right size, and it's a little small. I could have done it bigger, so but it's okay because all I got to do is like just glue it a little, you know, not all the way to the edge, but leave a little edge at the, you can have a bigger lid. All right, so I glued it down and taped it just so I don't have to hold it with my hands. It'd be good to have a couple of pieces of tape ready, just you know, out of the roll, so that you can just slap them on there once you put the glue down, so you don't have to try to hold it with your elbow when you unroll the tape. But you see how I didn't, you know, put it all the way to the edge like I sort of measured it to be. Just that was what I meant when I was saying that the lid was a little tight, and I had to give it some extra space. But now, since I glued it that way, it fits on there good. And then we're just going to fold down the top now. These tabs here, we're going to fold down and get taped. And then that's going to be the end of it. So I got the lid taped now, and the whole box is it's done. Now it's the right dimensions. It's 55 by 6 by 2 on the inside. So, and then we got this lid that comes off, and it doesn't need to have a lid. You know, the box didn't need to have a lid. I just needed to do that because it was too short of a cardboard, but it makes it look good, and we'll just tape that lid down once the thing's in there, and print the label and ship it off. Cool. Now we got the label printed and the box taped up, and we're gonna just take it to the post office and drop it off.